For your viewing pleasure, Steelers reporter Mark Kaboly getting ready for the National Football League draft. Guy, I get the feeling Mark's in the bunker somewhere. He's got draft guides. He's got the Arlads guide. He's got the Kuiper guide. He's combing through film as he's our film study guy, getting ready for Tuesday night, for our Thursday night, rather.
I think he's hungover drinking black coffee.
Which is it, Mark?
Forget all that. I want to know why my head's so much bigger than yours, Kenny, on that screen.
That's actual size. Come on, we're nothing but realistic here at Trib Live Radio.
Wow, that's kind of deflating. I'm going to turn off the live stream as we speak.
Mark, right. You're the only person that watches us. Other people
absolutely listen. Tremendous television. Forget actually when you guys are talking. I'm talking about like in between segments when Guy, you and Staggy, you could tell Staggy's on some kind of rant and you're just absolutely looking out the window. It's thrilling television.
Oh, man. Like zoo animals. Mark, tell us what you heard from Kevin Colbert and Mike Tomlin yesterday. Anything of significance that Steelers fans should perk their ears up about?
Absolutely not. I mean, you know how that is, Ken, Guy. That press conference, I know, Guy, you were there. I mean, you're not going to get much information out of there, and I think we got less information out of there than we were even expecting. Well, I mean, as the Pittsburgh media now, we almost expect that, so we tend to lean toward more of news involving the team because we really haven't talked to these guys in a couple months now in a setting like that. So as a draft-wise, what I took out of it is, sure, they'll move back, but they're not going to move up. They can draft about, one of 17 players in the first round. They all should be pretty good, and he's not going to tell you any kind of names. So if we're going to look for any information out of that about what's going to happen this weekend, we're probably looking in the wrong place. But we found some decent information about some updates about Sean Spence, if he's ready or not, if Heath Miller, stuff like that, who's going to play left tackle. Not quite sure if it's going to be Gilbert or Adams, stuff like that. So it was about a lot to do about nothing.
Well, the one thing that I'm reading in this Kevin Colbert's expression, he talked about people thinking this was not a good quarterback class, and he said he disagreed. And the more I hear and the more I read, Mark, I think there's a good chance at some point they may take a quarterback in this draft, which in my opinion is a total waste of a pick right now. I mean, they got Gradkowski. If they got to have Charlie Batches there, and if they got to get down to their number 3 quarterback anyway, they're already in big trouble. It's too early to get somebody to be the heir to Ben Roethlisberger one day. In my opinion, they have so many holes to fill now. That, to me, is a waste of a pick.
I totally, absolutely agree on that because if you look, they're going to pick a quarterback if they would choose one in the later rounds, 5, 6, or 7. And we've shown in the past you can get guys like Antonio Brown and such in those picks. So those are not totally throwaway picks, especially a team that needs depth in nearly every position. Now, my theory is if you're going to waste a pick of a 4th, 5th round pick on a quarterback, you might as well just forfeit your pick because you look across the league. If you're going to be successful in this league, more often than not, you're going to need a franchise quarterback. And last time I looked, franchise quarterbacks don't come in the 4th, 5th rounds, 6th rounds. Very few and far between. Maybe a Tony Romo, it can be done. So what I'm saying is, even if you're going to draft a guy in the 4th or 5th round, he's going to be a bit player, if that ever in his career. So, if you want to address the quarterback situation like that, the backup quarterback situation, there would be no better time to do it than next year. They're going to have 3, 4 extra compensatory picks to go along with this because of the guys they lost this year. Puts them in excess of 10, 11 picks next year. That's where they can be able to take a chance on a quarterback like that if they're so, really want to address the backup or third-string quarterback. But if you're addressing backup third-string quarterback, like you say, Guy, it's waste of pick in my point. But I'm sure Kenny disagrees and wants him to pick a quarterback because that's just the way he goes.
Yeah, it's a dig. It's a cheap shot. I'm going to disregard that.
I got a question. Kenny wants him to bring Gary.
Is it true? You want a quarterback, I'm guessing.
I think round 5 makes sense. No higher. They need to develop a good backup, not a starter of the future, but a good backup. Here's my question, Mark. This team has said some things, and even yesterday, they're talking about admitting they'll trade down, not trade up. They need, clearly they need some picks. They need a lot of picks. It sounds like a team that is rebuilding. And then at the same token, while they've had a lot of turnover and they've lost some young talent, they've brought in Plexico Burris back for another year and William Gay and Matt Spaeth. So it sounds like a team that's sort of patchwork. They keep Brett Kiesel. They're going to go for it, sort of. Are they rebuilding or not? What are they doing?
I don't think they are. I think they're trying to do some kind of hybrid rebuilding. They still have they believe the athletes in place to be able to win, and if they can supplement a couple positions, then they feel that they obviously can make a run at this. But the problem is why you're hearing names like the William Gays and the Matt Spaeth and guys of inconsequential differences is because they didn't have the money to bring in the guys that probably could really, really, truly make a difference. So they have to fill the holes in some way or form. I mean, if it is a rebuilding, it's a slight rebuilding. I think it's not what we see from, for a lack of better comparison in the Major League Baseball, with the Florida Miami Marlins seem to do every couple of years and just totally get rid of everybody. I don't think anybody would be on board with this. So why not? Why not? You still got some very quality players on this team. So I believe that's exactly why they're never going to say there's going to be rebuilding. They're trying to get younger, which that's why Max Starks, that's why Casey Hampton are not interested in bringing them guys back unless they're absolutely needed. You got rid of Harrison, who obviously could probably still play a year or two. I think they're being very selective of how they're going to do this, and their whole plan is within a year or two, when they get a couple of those drafts of the influx of picks here a year or so down the road, is that they'll be hitting the old track running here and be right back with one final run at the Super Bowl with Roethlisberger in his mid-30s. So I think they're going about it a little bit differently than a truly rebuild. So I think that's why they're not actually labeling it as, because you still got the quarterback, you still got decent receivers, and you still got 90% of the number one defense in the league last year coming back as well. So I think that's the reason.